DANIELLE MCLAUGHLIN Last updated 5 o'clock, April 15, 2018. Any attempt by President Donald Trump to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller could well be met by a legal challenge that could see everyone involved in front of the Supreme Court. Opinion. As the cleanup continues on a burned-out apartment in Trump Tower, another, metaphoric fire rages at the White House. After a raid on the home and offices of Michael Cohen, President Donald Trump's personal lawyer and longtime consigliere, reports have reached a fever pitch that Trumpis raging at the raft of investigations swirling like smoke around him, with the president's railing against investigators whom he says broke into Cohen's apartment. They knocked and entered with a search warrant. It is apparent that this perceived violence to Trump's inner circle may hasten his reportedly long-held plans to slow or stop the Russia investigation. DANIELLE MCLAUGHLin. It may feel rather Watergate-esque to you to hear that a sitting U.S. president, ensnared by a threatening personal investigation, may be on the cusp of taking out that investigation's leadership, and you'd be right. Two options appear to be on the table: firing Special Counsel Robert Mueller, who leads the Russia investigation, or firing Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, who is supervising Mueller in the wake of Attorney General Jeff Sessions' recusal from the probe. It may feel rather Watergate-esque to you to hear that a sitting U.S. president, ensnared by a threatening personal investigation, may be on the cusp of taking out that investigation's leadership, and you'd be right. Richard Nixon had to go through his Attorney General and his Deputy Attorney General, who both refused, and resigned, before the third most senior Department of Justice lawyer, Robert Bork, fired Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox. Everyone appears to have an opinion on this, so here's mine. The president can fire Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein for no cause, or for good cause. He can probably, technically, remove Special Counsel Robert Mueller, but to get rid of either man in order to slow or stop the Russia investigation would be political suicide at best, and obstruction of justice at worst. It would also be devastating to the Republican Party, and to an already divided American public, half of whom see Trump as a victim of the deep state, and half of whom shudder at his contempt for the rule of law. The president is the head of the executive branch, but that means in shorthand is that he is in charge of all prosecutors in the country and can theoretically fire any of them, including everyone in the Department of Justice, including Rod Rosenstein, and every United States attorney in every state in the country. The president has variously called Rosenstein weak and threat. This week, in a new line of attack, the White House is suggesting that Rosenstein is friends with former FBI Director James Comey, and that the Russia investigation is all just retribution for Comey's firing. The truth is that Comey and Rosenstein are not friends. Rosenstein wrote a critical memo recommending Comey's firing, that Trump partly relied on when terminating the FBI director. The president has also criticized Rosenstein as conflicted, in order to make the case for his removal. Trump does have a point here. Rosenstein was involved in Comey's firing, so is a potential witness. He's also supervising an investigation that is reportedly considering whether the Comey firing constituted obstruction of justice. You can't ethically be a both witness and a prosecutor. As for Mueller, Trump could repeal the regulations that govern the special counsel and fire him. Mueller would likely fight this, and everyone could end up before the Supreme Court. That's because under the special counsel regulations, because Rosenstein appointed Mueller, only Rosenstein can fire Mueller. It must be for cause, either bad conduct or a conflict of interest, and it must be in writing. Understanding that conflict was one of the levers to remove Mueller, Trump has been slamming Mueller since the investigation began. As an Obama-Clinton crony, and a Democrat, Mueller is neither. In June of last year, Trump reportedly asked White House counsel Don McGahn to get Rosenstein to fire Mueller, on account of one alleged conflict. Mueller had been involved in a dispute at a Trump golf club a decade prior. Clearly, this isn't a conflict that seems particularly concerning to the average person, and it smacks of pretext. McGahn refused, properly, and Trump let it go. In addition to the legal quagmire that firing either of these men presents, it would run counter to the will of the American public. In a Washington Post-ABC poll this week, 69% of Americans said they support Mueller's investigation, 64% support related investigations into Trump's business activities, and 58% support related investigations into possible hush money paid to women claiming they had affairs with the president. Just because Trump can get in the way of the investigation by firing Rosenstein and Mueller, it doesn't mean he should. Even though he shouldn't take those steps, it doesn't mean he won't, but to do so would be an attack on the rule of law, and would leave Americans wondering if the president believes he is above it. They then will have to decide whether, as Archibald Cox famously said after Robert Bork fired him, whether ours shall be a government of laws and not of men. Sunday Star Times.